Some children don't lose their childhood in a sudden crash. They outgrow it quietly, on the day they realize someone has to be responsible, and it might as well be them. On the outside, this creates a specific kind of adult, the reliable glue. You are the person who seamlessly holds together every social circle, every family gathering, and every workplace deadline. But that capability hides a heavy internal cost. You might find it impossible to truly rest, or feel a sharp resistance to asking for help, often accompanied by a strange guilt for having your own needs at all. While these traits look like a type A personality, they function as the scaffolding of a defense mechanism built years ago to navigate an unpredictable home. The struggle to simply exist as a resting adult today is a direct consequence of being forced to carry the weight of an adult in the past. This architecture begins in a home where the support is inconsistent. When a child can't predict if their emotional or physical needs will be met by the people in charge, the traditional roles of parent and child begin to blur. This swaps the natural order. Through parentification, the child manages the adult's well-being, becoming their emotional anchor. Solving these adult problems alone at age 7 sends a clear message to the brain. Depending on others is an unreliable strategy. This creates a state of survival independence. In this mindset, self-reliance is a necessary shield, a way to ensure you are never caught off guard by someone else's failure to show up. That fierce independence is a survival tool designed by a child to make sure they would never be let down again. Over time, this psychological shield starts to rewrite the body's internal settings. When a child lives in a state of high alert for years, the nervous system begins to adapt to that constant pressure. This is chronic stress adaptation. If the alarm in the house never stops ringing, the body eventually stops trying to turn it off and instead treats the alarm as the new normal. This chart shows how the nervous system recalibrates. It moves the baseline into a zone of constant hypervigilance, wiring the brain to scan for chaos. Because your body is used to the high alert zone, dropping down into a resting state feels physically dangerous. To a system wired for survival, silence isn't peace, it's a lack of defense. This explains why relaxation feels so impossible today. Your nervous system is still waiting for the next crisis it was trained to anticipate decades ago. This long-term hypervigilance eventually splits the way you relate to the world versus how you relate to yourself. This is split maturity. It's the experience of being an expert at navigating the external world while remaining unable to navigate your own internal needs. On one side of the split, there is immense competence. You process others' emotions, offering steady leadership. But on the other side sits the private self, shielded by a thick barrier, rejecting care, hiding pain, and refusing to show the cracks in the armor. You find yourself in a position where you can heal everyone around you, yet you cannot use those same tools to help yourself. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward addressing the exhaustion you carry every day. This burnout is the natural result of living inside a psychological architecture you were forced to build when you were too young to carry the weight. The extreme independence you rely on is a tool from a different time in your life, a time when you needed it to stay safe. Moving forward requires the difficult work of acknowledging your own needs and finally allowing someone else to share the load. You have been the responsible one for a long time. It is safe now to put the burden down.